And on this Wednesday, March 4th, 2026 edition of Newsmakers, explosions have been heard in Tehran and Jerusalem on the fifth day of the U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran. Charles De Ledesma reports.
The explosions around Tehran came at dawn, according to Iran's state television, while Israel's military says its air defenses had been activated to intercept incoming Iranian missiles and explosions heard around Jerusalem. 5 days into the war that President Donald Trump suggested could last a month or longer, nearly 800 people have been killed in Iran, including some Trump said he had considered as possible future leaders of the country. Explosions also hit Lebanon, where Israel says it's retaliating against Hezbollah militants. Lebanon's state-run media reports that at least 4 people were killed in an Israeli strike that hit a residential complex in the city of Baalbek. I'm Charles De Ledesma.
Dozens of Floridians stuck in Israel are now headed home thanks to a Tampa nonprofit. Grable Rescue helped evacuate 34 people from 2 St. Petersburg churches who were visiting Israel when fighting broke out. Pastor Dr. Randy Helms says it was frightening to hear bombs exploding, and he remembers the sound of the air raid siren sending shivers down his spine. He says he reached out to the federal government, but when the State Department couldn't help, he turned to Grable Rescue, and they were able to leave Israel yesterday. Army veteran Brian Stern founded the rescue group that's based in Tampa, and he says they plan to evacuate hundreds of people this week. The man accused of killing 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. is pleading not guilty to new terrorism-related charges. Elias Rodriguez's federal public defender entered the not guilty plea on his behalf as he appeared in federal court yesterday to be arraigned on 4 counts alleging acts of terrorism while armed. He is accused of gunning down a young couple who worked for the embassy outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum last year. The new charges were added to hate crime and other federal counts. Former NFL quarterback Tim Tebow is calling on Congress to put an end to child sex trafficking.
We have to do a whole lot more, and we have to do it faster, because every day we wait, they're suffering, they're crying, and I believe right now many of them are praying that we would respond.
In his testimony yesterday before the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism, Tebow added the number of online child sex abuse victims has nearly tripled, from about 20,000 to just under 60,000 since 2024. He said the numbers were determined by investigative partnerships with the Tim Tebow Foundation. While his testimony focused on exploitation in digital spaces, he challenged the subcommittee to find gaps in investigation systems and track criminals with more precision. A new report says Rhode Island Catholic clergy abused hundreds of children for decades, while church leaders worked to downplay and minimize the scandal. Today, Attorney General Peter Nerona released the report after a multi-year review. The report says 75 clergy molested more than 300 victims since 1950, but the totals are likely higher. Nerona says church officials cooperated in handing over records, but limited the investigation by denying key interviews. During the investigation, Nerona said his office charged 4 current and former priests for sexual abuse they allegedly committed while serving in the diocese. 3 of those priests are still awaiting trial. And that's Newsmakers for this Wednesday, March 4th, 2026 edition. I'm Keith Black.